So today I'm going to be reacting to a video by Cole Hastings, and this is called Why You Care So Much and How to Stop. It really piques my interest and I would love to hear what he has to say about it. So let's go ahead and get into it.
You know what most of the suffering you go through in life stems from? It stems from you caring too much. Where does our incessant caring come from? It really comes from these three basic needs that every human wants. And these are our need to feel in control, our need for acceptance or connection, and our need for consistency. Our need to feel in control explains our attraction to stuff like knowledge, food, shelter, wealth. These are things that we want to be able to control within our lives. That's why we care so much about them. When we start to feel like we're losing control to one of those things, it signals something in us to, act upon it, to gain back that control. This is also why we try to control other people's opinions about us by people pleasing.
Oh my God. People pleasing. I used to be a really big people pleaser when I was much younger, especially in disagreements. I don't know what it was, but I used to hate the feeling of someone having animosity towards me if I did not agree with every little thing they had to say. I would always have something that I wanted to say, but I would always hold it in for fear of how the other person might feel. Like, I don't want to upset you, so I'm just going to agree with everything you say. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. I would always do that shit. Or I would always, say sorry all the time. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I mean, why the f am I saying sorry? Why am I saying sorry? There's nothing to be sorry about. It takes a while for you to kind of understand that, you can't please people. And I think that comes from just wanting people to like you. But not everyone's gonna like you, of course.
A lot of people are big people pleasers because they don't want to feel like they can't control someone's opinion of them. And even though they can't, if they people please, they know that they'll have a better chance to. The second one, which might have the biggest impact on most people's mental health, is our need for acceptance and connection. There's very little as humans that we can achieve alone. Evolution has hardwired us to assume that we stand a better chance at survival if we are accepted by everybody. And obviously this is completely outdated now. We aren't fighting for our lives to survive every single day like prehistoric times. We don't need that group necessarily. And we all want to feel attractive and seductive to people because we want that connection and we want the chance to be able to reproduce with someone.
That is so fucking true, man. There is no better feeling than being accepted by your peers, your love interest, classmates, whoever it might be. There is just a feeling of like, yes, they love me, they want me, and I belong. But when you feel like you're not accepted, it almost feels like you're an outcast. And I've also dealt with that feeling as well. So he's definitely spitting some facts here, because being accepted is something that everybody wants to, have, especially by people we care about.
Again, our outdated mind overpowering how we really should feel. I'm very certain that those guys do not give a shit about what people think about them. And this is why so many of us have a hard time spending time alone with ourselves. Not only because we haven't self-actualized, we haven't learned to love ourselves, but also because when we spend a lot of time alone, we feel like we don't really fit in with any group. And also with self-actualization, besides connecting with people, we also want to feel connected to the world around us, to what we do, to who we feel we are. And this is why emotions and stories, and not facts and numbers, resonate so deeply with us. And lastly, our need for consistency supports the first two. The only way we know that there's breaks in consistency is if we aren't in control of something, or if we aren't putting together connections with things. We want our life to be consistent because then it's easily controllable, because we know what's going to happen next. A lot of people have anxiety when they can't predict their future. It makes them care more. So when something goes wrong in our lives that's different from the norm, or we get a bad opinion about us, we start to care more naturally.
Woo! This man is preaching! I can attest to this 100% because a lot of people don't understand what it feels like to be a YouTuber and have a career online. You gotta have thick skin. You gotta be creative. You gotta think of things outside of the box to bring people to your channel. It's a very up and down type of career for some people, for a lot of people actually. All the while you're getting criticized from people who don't make content on YouTube. I'm not complaining here, but that might be a little bit too much for someone's mental health. So YouTube isn't for everyone, and it's definitely not the easiest thing. People use YouTube for many different reasons. Sometimes they use it as a stepping stone to get to their other dreams, like me. This is just where we are right now.
Oddly explains also why we are so attracted or care more about mysterious things. Because they're unpredictable, it makes us care about them more. This happens a lot with like relationships with people. If you don't know a lot about someone, if they're not very upfront, if they're not on social media posting all the time, it gives them sort of like a mysterious vibe, and we naturally care about their lives more. And one more idea that I want to add to this that I think is left out a lot of the time is society's programming to get you to care about those things or emphasize those things even more. You know, the way that our society, at least in the West, is set up is to really overvalue status and your looks. Ooh. These above all determine Instagram. Your worth in modern society.
Oh my God, yes. Instagram is the biggest one. You have people judging others before even meeting them on their profiles and followers. Just because you have 200,000, 400,000, a million, 2 million does not make you a better person than someone who doesn't. That status and looks and all those numbers go to a lot of people's head on Instagram, man. And it's sad to see, man.
And that is through the media. That is through the things we consume. We think that these things really, really matter to us. More than personal fulfillment, more than happiness, more than finding meaningful relationships. You should value status and how you look, how attractive you are. And when you see things in the media that put these things on a pedestal and you don't get them, you don't achieve them, it makes you care way more.
Hell yeah, because you know what it is? In my opinion, I think that Instagram has cultivated a environment of people just showing their very best moments. I got this nice car, I got a big house, I got a gorgeous wife, I make X amount of money. I mean, it's just you're seeing everyone's best. And deep down, a lot of people are really insecure, man. But nobody wants to talk about the arguments you have in your marriage. Maybe you're not making as much money as you're telling people. Nobody wants to show that side. It's everyone's best. So if you see everyone's best, naturally, you feel like maybe I'm not doing too great either. So if you can really move past that, not use Instagram as much, then I think that you'll feel better about your mental health.
Now, I would not call myself a nihilist because I do think there is meaning to life. In the grand scheme of things, the human perspective of one single human is absolutely nothing. You are a single human in a single state, in a single country, in a single continent, in a single Earth, or a single planet, I guess I should say, in a single galaxy.
Yeah, he's making perfect sense. Of course, we all want to be successful in our lives, but I think that while we're on this journey, we sometimes tend to lose focus because, you know, we're not thinking about everything we have now. Some of us have come a long way and we got to give ourselves credit. You got to give yourself credit. So that's something that I'm learning too.
And you can compare your problems to other problems that are happening in the world that are at such a greater scale. And you can realize that you have a small amount of time on this earth and that nothing is permanent. The biggest thing for me is just realizing the impermanence of everything. That one day, everyone is going to die. That one day, all of your problems are going to cease to exist. That one day, all the memories that you've had are going to be nothing.
He's got a point. I mean, it's a very morbid way of looking at it, but yeah, he's he's telling the truth here. The only thing I'd probably say is just don't get confused with if you're met with an obstacle or a challenge that you should probably just give up because you're gonna die anyway. No. And I know that he isn't implying that, of course, but I know some people might feel like, okay, well, what's the purpose of doing whatever I'm doing in this world? You still have plenty of purpose. I always say that everybody has a talent. You may not know what it is just yet, but you have to actively search for it because you don't want to waste your time on this earth not knowing what that thing is that I'm really, really good at, you know?
Whole life is just one big game to get the most out of, to experience the most. It's not about who has the most money. It's not about who has the highest status, who has the most friends. All that stuff doesn't matter to me anymore once I adopted this mindset. If nothing is permanent, how are you going to overvalue all of these opinions that other people have about you, or, you know, stuff that happened that was bad or that you regret in the past, or what could happen in the future? The fact that the future is unpredictable. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things anyway. So just live your life how you want to live it. Be the person that you truly want to be, and be the person that makes you the happiest.
Great video. Great video, man. Yeah, go subscribe to Cole Hastings. This was an awesome topic. I think the topic that stood out the most to me was the whole people pleasing thing. If you're sitting here trying to please everyone, do what everyone tells you to do, agree with everyone, then you kind of lose a sense of yourself. You don't really have an opinion. You're not being you. That's definitely a common thing that a lot of people have issues with as well. But anyway, guys, if you enjoy my reaction, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow Cole Hastings. I'm sure he has great content. And I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Peace!